Hello, how's everyone doing? George here from the Playlist Push YouTube channel. It's great to be back. It's been a while since we made a video. We've been busy moving into a new office, bigger office, expanding the team, all of those exciting things that happen. So today, we're talking about why all music promotion companies are not the same. If you're an artist and you've shopped around for promotion, you can find stuff as little as $5 on Fiverr. And once you get up into the big leagues, you're working with major label budgets, bigger radio promotion, things like that. You know, you can get into the $50,000, $100,000, $250,000, $500,000 range. So obviously, not every company is the same, and especially in our space, Spotify and TikTok, it's very different, and we try to be as transparent as we can. How Playlist Push works is curators sign up to our network. We basically measure their playlist. We figure out how many listeners they have, how they grew their playlist. We use tools like Chartmetric to verify that data, basically see the birth of that playlist and how it started and make sure it grew in a natural way. And then based on those stats, they can sign up to Playlist Push and we'll pay them to review songs. We'll pay them anywhere from $1.50 to $15 per review. So if they have a really good playlist, we compensate them well for their time to review songs, and then you, the artist, you get to benefit from that. So it's a very cut and dry system, but not all companies are like that. Some companies, they have what we call complete control. So they own all of the playlists they have in their network. They can relatively judge how many streams you're gonna get from each playlist because they have complete control. They have complete access. They usually have their own music on some of these playlists. They're participating in, gaining streams from those playlists. And then they basically put your song in these playlists just for a finite amount of time, basically to reach some type of threshold of streams. Whereas on Playlist Push, we basically open the network and we say, hey, look, we're gonna send it to the best playlist we have in our network that fit for your song. It's up to them if they wanna add it, but if they do add it, they can keep it on there as long as they want. So the cool thing about Playlist Push is each campaign has a long tail to it. And if the song is a really good fit, we have people that have stayed on playlists for 3 or 4 years now. So there's always a long tail to these campaigns. It's not like, hey, the campaign ended after 2 or 4 or 6 weeks. All of this stuff continues and then hopefully also continues for discovery features on Spotify, like radio, Discover Weekly, things like that. Hopefully all those things start to boost. With some of these other companies, if they have complete control of these playlists, what they'll do is they'll basically create a playlist and run ads in lower tier countries. So these are basically countries where it's very cheap to run ads, like countries like Indonesia, India, things like that. So they can basically get cheap streams on your music. So they're not just saying, hey, we can get you 5,000 or 10,000 streams. They're getting you 10,000 streams from Indonesia, which really pays pennies on the dollar compared to streams coming from North America, or even better, the Nordics, which usually pay the best. Not all of these companies are the same. You might look at it and say, hey, this one got me this amount of streams, this one got me this amount of streams, but one is destroying your data on Spotify. So it's not feeding the correct data to Spotify because you didn't earn a spot on those playlists. You're on playlists with anyone else that wanted to pay for that service. And ultimately that just confuses Spotify. And you're on playlists like, High School Musical 5 or something like that, even though your song wasn't on that show. So obviously people hear your song, they're probably gonna skip it because it's not part of that niche of music or that type of music they're trying to listen to anyways. So it doesn't benefit you in the long term. Basically what I'm saying is that's why Playlist Push isn't cheap, because we have some of the best playlists that are on Spotify that are user created, strictly vetted, and are real. And they have serious artists on those playlists that have earned those spots. The name of the game is it's better to grow slow and earn spots on playlists instead of just paying for cheap services, because each time you do that, it's really throwing off the long tail discovery of what can happen for your music on Spotify. So some things to look out for if you're using other services. Number one would be abnormal streams coming from a playlist compared to how big the playlist is. So on average, most playlists, the average listenership to follower ratio is around 2 to 3%. A playlist that has 10,000 followers isn't gonna give you 10,000 streams. But if you're on a playlist like that and you're getting more streams than the playlist has followers, that's a red flag, and that person's probably either running bots to that playlist or doing something nefarious because there's legitimately not enough people following it to produce those streams. So that's how you know it's fake. Like I said, real playlists, even some of the biggest and best Spotify playlists are actually around 1% monthly listener to follower ratio. So that's just something to keep in mind. Obviously a company like us, like Playlist Push, we don't work with everyone. Some of these cheaper companies, they can promote any song they want. If it's in a foreign language, if it's super niche, Most of these companies will just take your money and they'll get you the finite amount of streams and they'll move on, or you'll just keep paying for this and your career will really never take off, and you'll think there's people listening to your music, but really there's not much happening behind the scenes. If you're not sure if your music will work on Playlist Push, you can email us and just put the subject line, "Will this work?" ? Send us your song and we'll very happily listen to the song, and if we think we have a network for that song, we'll let you know. We do have checks and balances in place, so let's say you apply with a song like a Bollywood song. You fill out all the genres, you put in Bollywood. What's gonna happen when you try to set the budget is there's gonna say there's no curators available for this style of music. That's something that we have in place that already works, but if you don't even, you don't wanna go through the apply process and you just wanna have an idea of where your music can fit in, shoot us an email and we'll see what we can do. We'll be honest and manage expectations and see if there's anything we can do to help you out. That's it for today, guys. If you have any questions about, I don't know, other services you've used in the past, or if you have questions about Playlist Push, feel free to comment down below and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.